Hello students, welcome to this session. In this session I will be discussing about the second chapter of your Java programming. This is the second chapter where we will be discussing the overview of Java programming, in the sense what are the different types of programs that you can develop using Java, and what are the different phases you have in Java program, as well as structure of Java program. First, when I say types of Java program, now first thing is, like, if you consider application, so basically we have two different types of softwares. One is like system software, other one is like application software. Now Java can be used, that is Java programming language can be used to develop several kind of application softwares. So those application softwares which are being developed with the help of Java can be of two types. First is like standalone, and the second type of application that you can develop is nothing but web application. When I say standalone application or web application, standalone application is like, if you write this particular type of program, this program will be used only in the local system. So what is the meaning of used in only local system, or can be used in only local system? In the sense, suppose in a system or in a computer, if I install that particular software or that application can be used only in that particular system. It is not available to the other system. This type of applications will consider it as standalone applications. You can consider the examples like say I have Turbo C++, or I have MS Office. All those kind of applications are standalone applications, because the machine or in which system we are going to install, that software can be used in only that particular system. It is not available with the other system. Again, if you consider web application, these are the applications or the softwares if you install in the server. Say I have a server, and if I try to install that software in the server, then whatever applications or softwares that is available in the server can be accessed by all the client systems. That is, it can be used in any client systems, like say your browser. So if you develop an application that is web application, you can use that in any system which is having browser. Example, you can consider you have online calculators on the Google Chrome or any kind of web browsers. If you want to do any calculations, you will be having online calculators there, or online gaming. All those things will be like web applications. So by using Java, we can develop standalone application as well as the web application. Now, apart from this, coming back to the next topic, which is phases of Java programming. Now, when I say phases of Java program, how to develop a Java program will be divided into several phases. In that, first phase will be the editor phase. Editor is nothing but it is an application which will be used for developing the Java program. Like if you have seen Turbo C. Whenever you are using Turbo C is an application which will help you to develop C++ program or C program. Similarly, we will have editors, like say for example Notepad, or several IDEs like Eclipse, NetBeans. So these are some of the IDEs that is available for creating a Java program. When I say IDE, what this IDE stands for is, IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So integrated development environment, just like you are going to see one more subject or study one more language called as Visual Basic. There will be using a application software called as Visual Studio 6.0. That studio is nothing but what? It is an IDE by using which you are going to develop the application. Again, first we'll have these editors by using which you are going to develop your Java program. Once the Java program is written, the next phase is compilation phase. So in the editor we are going to write the source program. Once the source program or your actual coding is written, that will be saved onto the memory in terms of, like say in the hard disk it will be saved. Once it is saved, next we are going to compile that particular program. So to compile that particular program, we will be using a package called as JavaC. So JavaC is an exe file by using which you can compile the Java program. So once you compile the Java program, it is going to generate a bytecode that you have already discussed, that is in the concept of platform independent. Say whenever I write a Java program, that Java program will be program1.java. Just how you are going to use in C program, you are going to mention that program name .c. Similarly in Java we are going to write program name .java. After this is done, we are going to compile that program. Once you compile that program, it is going to generate a new file called as bytecode. This bytecode will be like program1.class. Okay, what is that class? Dot class is nothing but it is a bytecode of the source program, right? Now we have the source code here and we have the bytecode here. That is done in compilation stage. Once the program is compiled, next stage you are going to have is like verification stage. So next we are going to have is verification stage. In verification stage, or say before that we'll have in the verification stage we are going to verify the bytecode. Before verifying, we'll have something called as loading stage or loader, class loader. So that we have discussed in the concept of JVM. You know, JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine. So compiler, it is going to generate the bytecode, which is nothing but JavaC. Once JavaC is generated the bytecode, we should execute that bytecode. To execute that bytecode, we'll have what? We'll have JVM. JVM is what? JVM is the interpreter that is going to execute the bytecode. So next we have the loader. What is the function of loader is? The class file whichever it is generated, that has to be loaded into the memory for execution. That is the function which is loader. So editor, we are going to write the program. Compiler, we are going to compile the program. Once the program is compiled, it is going to generate bytecode. Bytecode will be like program1.class. Now I need to execute the program. To execute the program, we'll have the next phase where it is nothing but loading phase or loader phase. In this phase, what will happen? The JVM is going to load the bytecode into the memory. What is the bytecode? Bytecode is nothing but program1.class. Program1.class is the bytecode that will be loaded into the memory, say main memory, which is RAM. Once that is loaded, we are going to have the verification stage. In the verification stage, we are going to verify whether the bytecode is proper or not. If there is any mistakes in the bytecode, those things will be checked in the verification stage. At last, we are going to have the execution phase. So in this execution phase, in this last phase, the program, whatever it is available in the form of bytecode, will be executed by the execution engine. So that we have seen in the that is JVM also. So these are the different phases that is available in Java program. So this is the case with the say I told you we have two different types of applications. One is standalone application, other one is web application. Web application, we are going to have say first, this stage will be common for both the programs, that is both the applications. First, source code, so we'll have the source code. source code will be compiled and it is going to generate the bytecode. In the case of standalone application, we'll have a exe file called as java.exe. This will be executing the standalone application, whereas web application will be executed by the web browser. So web browsers are going to execute the web applications, whereas standalone applications will be executed by your java.exe. So hope this is clear about the phases of Java program. Next, we are going to discuss the structure of Java program. I can say it is not the definite structure of Java program. We will be discussing the brief introduction of how first Java program will be, how we can see the first Java program, and what are the things that we are going to see in Java program that we are going to see now. So when I say Java program, first we will be using a keyword called as class. It will be followed by the class name. While writing the class name, usually the first letter of the class name will be capital. This is like, it is not compulsory, but if you make that practice, you can differentiate between which is class and which is method. Okay, so that we'll see in the coming sections. Now first class name followed by, say I'll say program1. This is my class name, program1. Again we'll have the open brackets. So whichever content or whatever coding that you are going to write, everything should be written within the class, right? Class will contain all the data members, in the sense variables as well as functions. Now how you used to write in C program, you used to write main function, and under main function you are going to write data types as well as whatever codings you want to write. And if you have any functions you are going to write, you can declare or you can define outside main function. Similarly, in Java, what will happen, whatever coding you are going to write, whatever function you are going to write, everything should be written within the class. So first have a class keyword followed by class name, and you have a opening brackets. Now under this I'll just specify something like public static void main, and this will contain string args. And again, so we'll have system dot out dot println. So I'll just write hello. So this will be the simple example of how we can write a Java program. So first you are going to have class, which is the keyword, and it will be followed by the class name, and again it will be followed by the opening brackets. So that is, whatever functions you are going to have or whatever variables that you are going to define, everything should be written within this opening brackets as well as closing brackets of the class. Again, in this class I have a function called as main. So this is similar to that of how you are going to use in C program. In C programming also, main function defines the beginning of the program. It represents the start of the program, start of execution of the program. Similarly, in Java also we have a function called as main, which represents the beginning or execution starts from this main function. Now here we have defined something called as public static as well as void. Public is nothing but it is access specifier. We'll call that as access specifier. What does access specifier mean is, now this function whatever I have defined, whether it is accessible outside this class or not. Okay, whatever variables or functions that I have defined within this class, whether I should allow that outside class or I should restrict that function only to this class, all those things will be discussed in the form of access specifiers. We have a separate topic on this. I'll discuss later again on this topic called as access specifier. So public is nothing but it is access specifier. What it specifies? It specifies whether this function is available outside class or not. That will be specified by public. So since I have mentioned it as public, it can be accessed outside class. Just remember, if anything is mentioned as public, it will be accessed outside class. Okay. Now what is static? Static is another keyword which will be used for accessing the method without object. Without creating an object, if you want to access any method, I'll be specifying it as static. So static, if I want to mention, I can access that particular method without using the object. So that is why we have mentioned it as static. Why? Because JVM will be able to access this method without creating a variable or object for this class. That is why we have created it as static. Again, void, that you know, it is nothing but whenever you want to specify that that function does not return any value, then we'll be making it as void. Okay. And finally coming for these two things, that is string as well as args, which represents arguments. String is a data type. Okay, how you used to use in C, like integer, character, float. Similarly, we have string here. Okay, string is whenever you create a variable of string, you can have collection of characters there. Okay, so that we'll discuss later. String is a data type that is used to store the values. Now what is args? Args is an array which is used to store runtime arguments. In the sense, whenever a program is under execution, if you want to store some values to that particular program, we can store that values into this particular variable called as args. So args is a variable that is used to store the runtime arguments, right? Again, this line of statement, so this is the open brackets and closing brackets of this function, which is main, and this line of statement which will be representing just like how you are going to use it, printf. Printf, it is going to just print something called as hello, where system is a class name that is already defined in Java program, just like how we are going to write in here we have written program 1 is a class. Similarly, system is a class that is already defined in the JVM, right? Again, you have out. Out is a object or a variable that is used to access this function called as println. So println is a function, out is an object, system is a class. So how you are going to define objects, how we are going to access the functions, those things we are going to discuss in the coming chapters. Just understand, to print this just one statement which is hello, we will be using system.out.println. So this will be used to print that statement on the console. Okay, on the console or on the output screen, if you want to print that particular word hello, I will be using system.out.println. So this is the first program of your Java. So in the next session, I will try to explain this with the example in your system, and I will be providing the link for your files or whatever software that is required for executing the Java program. So that you can try this program. Okay, thank you.